Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Let's see if we're live. I'm hoping we might be. Oh, yeah, I think we are. Now I have a little bit of a tickly throat today, so it's not the best sound. There we go. There we go. So my apologies if my voice sounds a little bit like a lawnmower. Hi Laurie, I've got a bit of a tickly throat, Laurie, a little bit of a scratchy sore throat, so I do apologise. I know it doesn't sound the best, but I'm here, Okay, so we're going to make, hi Jane, hi. I've just apologised for my voice. I have a bit of a sore throat. There's lots of it going around the classroom, and I don't feel ill or anything. I just have a tickly throat. So who knows what I might get next. Hope you ladies are okay. I'm making a really simple side step card. Oh, let's see if we can just make that a bit straighter. I don't know which way I need to go. Maybe that way. Looks a bit wobbly on the screen. Let me just see. I always have to wait a minute for it to catch up as well. I think it should be. Oh well, that's as straight as it's going to be, I think. So I'm using one of the new sweets from the new annual catalogue, and I'm making this card. This is just the template for it. It's a really easy little fold. Yeah, you're right, Janet. Jane, that is why I've got a sore throat, because I'm working with those little ones. But I wouldn't change it in a million years. So we're making this quick and easy little fold. It fits in an ordinary envelope, not a problem. And I took the measurements for this one from online, and it's not quite how I want to make it. When you make this, the little side step panel stops here. And so when you put a little piece of card over the back, you get a line here and a line there. I actually like mine to be the full length at the back. So I'm going to make mine the full length. And the sweet I'm using is this Hues of Happiness. I don't know if you've seen this one already. It's turning out to be one of my favourites, because what I'm in love with is the designer series paper. It is so pretty. I got it last week, and I must admit I didn't open it until Sunday morning. I had lots of stuff that I was doing last week. As you know, I couldn't come and do a Facebook Live because I was busy doing accounts. I haven't even opened the stamps and the dies. So you're going to see those just as soon as I see them. But it's a really, really pretty set. And if you buy the whole suite, you get the stamps, the dies, the paper, and the little glossy dots. And that's what I did. Oh, you've seen the one I showed on Facebook. Yeah, I was cutting out the papers, the little flowers at the weekend. So they're the only pieces I've shown. Was it the weekend? Was it Monday? What day is it today? Tuesday. It was Sunday. I was cutting them out. So these are the little glossy dots. What I do like is that each of the colours come in these three sizes. I use a lot of tiny dots, so I'm really happy to see those, and I love this. Okay, so let me show you the paper first, because that is open. It's the only thing that is open. Okay, so, and it's a bit mixed up at the moment because I just took out pieces that I wanted. Now let me just see. I need to put it back around the right way. Okay, so this rainbow picture is the back. We're actually going to use a piece of this on the card. Hi Glenda, nice to see you. I've got the most awful tickly throat, Glenda, and I know it sounds a bit more like Darth Vader or a rusty lawnmower, and I do apologise, but it is what it is today. So this is the first design, and I'm going to use a little bit of this on our card and a little bit of the rainbow. And then the rest are all floral, and I love this. I haven't done anything with any of it. Oh, it's not too bad. You should be sitting here, Glenda. It's awful from where I'm sitting. Okay, these are the flowers that I was cutting out. So at the weekend when I was cutting them out, these are where all the pieces came from. They were off these pieces. Okay. And the backs are really pretty as well. It's that same sort of canvas look. So if you, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it looks like it's sort of painted on a canvas. And it probably was, because that's how Stampin' Up! Make a lot of their designer series papers. They actually paint them, photograph them, and then use the photographs of their paintings to make the paper. So, but it's all such pretty, pretty floral paper. And if you don't want the floral side, there's always the other side. Oh, that's the same as the one we've already seen. So again, another one with this like canvas effect and flowers. It's not a speciality DSP. Remember, when it's speciality DSP, it has like a gold flecking or a metallic. But this hasn't, but actually it doesn't even need it. So these are the two sheets that I was cutting from. And I know that the dies will cut some of them out. But as you know, I haven't opened it, so let's look at that together. Here's the stamp set, which is going to be really nice for colouring. Or I make a lot of black and white cards, and I thought it would be just nice stamped in black as well, and not coloured at all. But I love the font, and I love these little flowers. And then the dies that match, they really are, Jane. They're so pretty. So, and I love that sort of, let me hold this one up again. I love that like canvasy effect on the flowers as well. Really pretty. It's maybe easier to see on this one actually. On the reds. See, it almost looks like it's got that canvasy pattern in it. Glenda's probably made all sorts with these already. Okay, so now the dies, they will cut out the stamps. I don't know which way around. Let me have a little peep. Oh, there we go. It's going to be that way. So they will cut those out. But they also cut out the flowers on here. And again, I don't know which way it goes. So you'll just have to bear with me while I peep around. I don't know if they cut every one. Oh, no, not that way. There we go. So we'll cut the bigger ones. And then these will cut the smaller ones. And on some of the other papers as well. And then the leaves. Let's find one that's easier to get at. Let's have a look up here. It will cut the leaves. And here's another leaf. See how it just all matches in so perfectly. But they're such easy things to cut out as well, that if you only had the paper, you could still make all of these cards that I'm going to be making and just use the paper and fussy cut them. But what I really like is this one. And I don't know if you saw on the front of the catalogue, this here, where it looks like you've torn a page from a notebook or a journal, that's that. That's that one. And this one, let's go back, see if there's a sample in here. What was that on? Was it 109? Yeah, let's have a look. I have to put my glasses on to look. No, I don't think there is one of those there. I bet there is. Somewhere in the catalogue they will have used it. I'll have a peep later and I'll write down which pages that one's on as well. But you see, it's going to give you almost like a broderie anglaise ribbon threading. So you could thread through there as well if if you, with like a baker's twine, one that's cut, you could thread in and out. And this one, it gives you this pattern. Some of the little pieces pop up. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry ladies. So that looks really pretty too. But I'm not going to use the dies, and I've got out the paper that I need. I am going to use one of the stamps. I do just need a drink. Oh, that's better. Okay, so what I was doing at the weekend, I wasn't even making anything. I was just cutting, and I even cut, get the piece where I was cutting from, but I even cut the edge pieces. So I even cut these pieces because for all of this week I'm going to be making projects with this, and I thought that these would line up on the edge of a card. So if this was the front of our card, you can line it up right on the edge, and then, you know, you can always put another one sort of here, but you've still got these pieces, and it's a shame to waste them. You don't need to throw them away. So we can make something where it goes all the way around the edge like a border. Okay, so when you are fussy cutting, yeah. So Glenda hasn't had time to use them either. Oh, okay, I don't feel so bad now. When I'm fussy cutting something, and I've cut lots of the leaves, but what I tend to do is cut a piece out that I'm going to use, because I'm always worried that I cut off a leaf or something by accident. And then I leave maybe a 1/16 of an inch border. Some people leave more. Some people like to cut right up to the edge of the flower. But honestly, I leave a little white border. I find it easier, and you don't have to be as precise. So if you were cutting these out with the dies, you would get the same kind of width border as this. And you just make it however big you want. Oh, let's see. My computer thought it was going to have a little sleep then, but it's not. Okay, so I just cut. And if you've got most of it cut out and then you think, oh, there's a bit much there, you can always go back and trim a little bit off. It doesn't have to be perfect. And honestly, who's going to know how big a border you needed? So that's all I do. I'm not the best at fussy cutting, but I think it looks okay. I think it's passable. So let's get on and make this. Hi Valerie, how nice to see you. Good afternoon. Oh, I wonder where you are. It's 6:15 here. So where in the world would it be afternoon still? Maybe in British Columbia? Whereabouts are you, Valerie? Let us know. Unless it's tomorrow. Unless you're in the future. And then it might be somewhere like Australia. I don't know. Okay. So this is the card. And as I said, I don't actually like this cut shorter. I'm going to cut it longer so that it covers up easier. But it's a really, really easy card to make. I'm just going to move all my little bits out of the way. And I'm going to use Blushing Bride. Now, on the back of the Designer Series paper, it will tell you what all the colours are that are in the paper. And it says Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Melon Mambo, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy and Pool Party. Blushing Bride isn't mentioned, but I was cutting the pinks out and I thought that this one matched so beautifully on Blushing Bride. So it doesn't even matter that that colour's not listed, because look how beautifully it matches. And that's the thing about Stampin' Up. All of their colours will match together. All the different tones and shades, they will go together. So I'm using Blushing Bride quite unashamedly. I know it's not on the list, but I like it. So you need just half a piece of cardstock to start with. So I'm just going to cut it across at 5.5. So it's just half a piece. I am going to trim it down, but we're starting at a piece that's 5.5. Pop that on one side because we will need some more. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and this measures 8.5, but I only need it to measure 8. So I'm going to trim it down, cut it at 8. Yep, those pinks just match beautifully, Jane. I don't know why I keep calling you Janet, because I know your name's not Janet. No, I'm so sorry. I'm blaming my sore throat. Okay, I don't need this. I could save it for something, but today it's gone. It's gone in the bin. Okay, now while we've got it this way with the longest edge, the 8-inch edge on the top, I'm going to score it, and I'm going to score at 3. Let's move that blade out of the way. So 3 and 6. Oh, I need to open that trimmer arm again. And 7. So 3, 6 and 7. Okay. Now I need another piece for the little side step piece, this little piece here. So I'm going to go back and get that other half that I had, and then, oops, so let me put that on one side. I need it to be 8.5, and we know this is 8.5. 8.5 by 3. So I'm just going to trim off a 3-inch piece with my blade. Yeah, sorry, Jane. And then I'm going to turn it round, and I'm just going to fold it at 4 1/4. Okay, so it's 8.5 by 3, and I've scored at 4 1/4, and that will then become our side step piece. So when we've got it on our card, instead of it finishing here, it will go all the way down to the bottom. If you wanted to cut it to this size, and you do save a little piece of the cardstock, this size was, let me just think, 6 inches by 3 and scored at 4 1/4. But I just like mine that little bit bigger. Okay, I'm going to get my burnish. Laurie, I thought you would like pink. I did think about making this one with the greens, and then I thought, no, I'm going with pink. My ladies like pink. Okay, so now I need a white piece to go on. So I'm going to have a white piece on the front. I need designer series paper for here, and a piece for the back. So I'm going to get my basic white card. See where I've hidden that? Here we go. And I will put all these measurements down, so don't worry too much. You don't have to be remembering them. So I need a piece of white that's 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. I'm just going to cut it in half at 5.5, and then I'm going to trim it down. Okay. So I'm going to cut this at 2 3/4. Hi Libby, nice to see you. I've got a bit of a tickly throat, Libby, so just ignore the funny voice. Okay, so 5 1/4. We're making a really easy side step card, Libby, and we're using paper from one of the new sweets, and I've just fussy cut out lots of flowers. Excuse me. Okay, so that's one piece, and this is going to go on the back. Okay, I need another white piece for the front. I'm going to take my little piece that I had left, and I'm going to cut this at 4 by 2 3/4. So here it is at 4. Pop that to one side, and 2 3/4. And this will go on the little panel at the front, I hope. Yeah, so that's going to go on the little panel at the front. Okay, now I just need to cut some designer series paper. And And remember I said I was going to use some of that kind of rainbow effect? I have to go back to the beginning of the pack for that. I want a narrow strip of this, and that's where the purple is, but I want this side. And I'm only going to cut off, I think I only need 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to chop a 1 inch piece off. Oh, excuse me. Now it's because I'm talking a lot that my throat's tickling. Okay, so I've got this piece. I need to cut it down to 5 1/4, and then I'm going to trim it down to 3/4. I could have cut this piece off at 3/4, but to be honest, I've got more chance of using a 1 inch piece on things. So I don't want to make it too small. I'm going to line this up at 3/4. If you find that your paper moves, you could always put like a little piece of washi tape over there, just to stop it wriggling round. So I'm just going to line that up 3/4. I don't need that little scrap. And then the piece for my front, I'm going to use this pinky colour. Whoops, let's pop that purple one back. And so I need that cut at 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So let's chop off a piece 2 3/4. And we'll chop this at 5 1/4. I think. I think it's 5 1/4. Let's see. I hope it's 5 1/4. And if it's not, then we'll cut another piece. Okay. And I need a little piece for the back as well. I'm not quite sure how big that piece at the back will be, but I think I'm going to cut the same. I think it's going to be 2 3/4. I might have to change it, but that's okay. So 2 3/4. And I don't know if it's going to be an inch 1/4, or an 1 1/8. So I'm just going to chop 1 1/4 off, and I can always trim it. There we go. Okay, so that's all the cutting. Now let's go back to our base piece. This was the piece that was 8 by 5 1/2, and we scored it at 3, 6 and 7. And then I've got it so that the 2 narrower score lines are at the right hand side, and the main one here in the middle, this is going to be the main fold of the card. So I'm going to fold that back. I'm going to go over it with my bone folder. Libby, aren't you glad we saved some snow for you coming back? I bet you could hardly believe it. Okay, now this is going to be our front. This piece will be a valley fold, so I'm going to fold it up and burnish. And this one's going to be a mountain, so I'm just going to fold it down. Okay, and it will sit like that. So if you look, it's sort of like a W. This W here. It's not quite a level W, but it's sort of like a W fold. Okay. Now I'm going to put some of my designer series paper on before I start and put the front piece on. That is the hardest thing done. Okay. The rest of this is so simple. We're going to get that larger piece of designer series paper, and it's going to fit here. And look, you can see on this piece really well how it looks like a piece of canvas. I do think Stampin' Up! Designer series paper is some of the nicest I've worked with. I love how it always matches. And I don't have to run around trying to find the right colour pink or something that matches my stamps. I do think they excel at that. There are things that I wish they made that I'd like to use, but at the moment they don't make it. But maybe in the future they will. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this little piece across the front here. Where did I put that tape? Yeah, you're right, Libby, we could have had a lot more snow and it could have settled I know Richard said there was a lot more in Calgary than we had here in Cochrane. Did you have much? I saw your beautiful pictures of Bowness, and it didn't look too bad there, but I'm not sure what time they were taken. Excuse me, coughing. Okay, so that's the main part of our card made. Now we're going to make next the little side step piece, or the little front piece. And for this, when you have it made, you can attach this where you like. I like mine over to the left, like this, but you can make it so that it goes over a little bit and you can see designer series paper at both sides. You can have it right in the middle. You can have it at the right hand side. I'm going to put mine, I'm just going to leave a little bit, I think, this time, so you see a little bit of that at each side. And you're going to need the little white piece that we cut, that just matches in there. And this is going to be the focal piece of my card. So I'm going to start with stamping a sentiment. Oh, you were out around 9. Yeah, it wasn't too bad then, actually. The roads were just wet for us then. So I'm going to take one of the sentiments. I'm going to see which one fits. Oh, that send in many thanks is just a bit too big. Let's have a look for a birthday one. What's the birthday one like? Oh, the birthday just fits. Let's make it a birthday card. I love that it's photopolymer. That means I can see through it without having to squint too much. Pop it on a block. And I'm going to stamp it right at the top here. And I'm just going to stamp it in black. Laurie, were you out walking the dogs and things in the snow? We didn't take the children out to play in it because some of them were still dressed for summer and they didn't have their winter clothes with them. Yeah, I didn't prime this first. I'm just going to stamp it off. I'm just going to go over it. So I noticed the top layer, the top part of the writing, it isn't taking the ink quickly. There we go. Let's try again. Oh, that's better. Okay. So I'm going to put some ink on, and then I'm going to stand up so I can actually see this. And apologies if all you can see is my head. But because it only just fits on here, I need to make sure I can get it all in. Yeah, that will work for me. Let's put that lid on. That's all the stamping we have to do. Such an easy card. No snow this morning. That was lucky. Okay, so the only other thing I'm putting on here are some of my flowers. And as I said, I'm choosing the pinks. And all I'm going to do, I think I'm only going to use 2 flowers and some of the leaves that I've cut out. And there are 2 different shapes of leaves. And some are like a darker mossy meadow, some are a granny apple green. I might do a selection of both. And I think I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals just to give it a little bit more sort of depth. And if you're fussy cutting these, and it makes it so easy to make your card. You don't have to stamp. All you have to do is cut a couple of pieces out. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to pop that round about there. And then this one, what I'm going to do is put a dimensional under here and just a little bit of glue there. I don't want it to have a dimensional here or the flower will, sort of be a bit wonky. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue at one side and a dimensional at the other. Oh, Jane, it's just a tickly cough. It's just so annoying. It's not that there's anything on my chest to cough up, it's just a tickle. And once that tickle's there, oh, you can't get rid of it. But I had a mask on at preschool, of course, today. And when I coughed, one little boy came up to me and said, Miss Diane, would you like my snack drink? So, thank you, I would love your snack drink, but no, it's your drink. So, they're not used to me making a noise or anything like that, so I think they were a little bit worried. Okay, let's see how I want these leaves to go. I'm just going to do them like this so you can see a little bit of leaf. Oh, let me try that little one as well. And then we'll maybe put one up here too. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do them like that. And I'm not going to put them on dimensionals. You could do if you wanted, but I'm just going to have those sort of a bit lower down and flat. There we go. We should just do a class using this paper, shouldn't we? So we don't even have to stamp much. I'm going to turn that around a bit. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to attach it to the front of this piece here. I'm going to do it with my glue just because if I use my seal or my glue runner right now, I might squash those flowers. I'm going to pop this on. There we are. Now, if you wanted, you could put like a little piece of ribbon on here before you attach it. So you could have a little ribbon. I'm probably not going to do a bow, but just because my flowers are there. But you could certainly have, you know, like a little ribbon over here, especially if it went underneath your flower. You could use twine and tie it as well. That would look quite pretty. So I'm going to attach it now to my card. So we've got that little W fold piece that we made, and I'm going to put just a little run of glue here, and it will attach just onto this front piece, and that's only 1 inch wide, so you don't need too much glue. You could use a tape runner, you could use tear and tape, but I'm just going to use liquid glue on mine for speed. So yeah, I've got some lovely children at preschool, I must admit. They're such a caring little bunch. But yeah, I didn't want to take his drink because then he would have cried if I'd taken it. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that for a second. Okay. And then I'm going to close the whole card, turn it over, and I'm going to do exactly the same here. I'm going to put just a little bead of glue. I know I've got sort of 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch where I can put glue. And I'm going to fold this down so that it meets the bottom of the card. It's not at all difficult. Okay, and that gives you that beautiful side step. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to put our little white piece over like this. And then this is the piece, I wasn't sure how big to cut it. I do need to trim it down a bit because it's just a bit too big. Okay, so I need to take a little bit off, and I will. I'm going to attach this one first. I'm going to attach this with our tear and tape. Or, no, I won't. I've got stamping seal in my hand, so tear and tape would probably be a little bit stronger, just because you're going over a couple of layers here. Okay, stick that down. And I've got lots of these little flowers left, so no, I could use one of the little pieces I've cut like this. Pop it on at the other side. Still leave you enough room to write. I've got this little one that I cut out. Let's see, I've got another one of those. I'm actually going to put this little light pink one on, I think. Oh, no, I won't, because this is a darker pink. I'm going to pop this one on. You all ready for camping, Libby? I'm hoping it's not snowy. Okay, now let's chop this down. So what did I cut this at? Did I cut it at 1 1/4? I did. Well, let me see, I need to leave just that. Let me just try taking 1/8 of an inch off and see if I like that. Or it might be that I need to take more off. So I'm just going to trim it down to 1 1/8. Take that bit off and see. No, that would be just right, look. But 1 1/8. Except I just tore that little piece. So I might just cut another one. So I don't like that little piece. So it needs to be 1 1/8. Let me get that pink back again. So it was 2 3/4. That's just 2 3/4 by 1 1/8. So 1/8 is like the second little line after the 1, because all of our trimmer is marked in 16ths. So you just need 2 little marks. Let's get rid of those. Yeah, I hope the weather cooperates, Libby. And that the men do too. And they do all the jobs for us this weekend. Let's pop that on. It would have been nice with the flowery side too. And really, you can use just little scraps for this. You don't need a big piece. You don't even need to put a piece on. It's just that I like it to have something on that piece of card so that it looks like it belongs. Okay. Now, I told you earlier it fitted in an ordinary envelope, and look, it does. It's not a problem. It's only got the 1 layer of dimensionals on, but it is a little bit thicker. It will still go through the ordinary mail. You don't have to send it, you know, as an oversized letter or anything. The thickness still fits. Okay. Let's put a couple of those gems on as well. Those little glossy dots. See, the pink might be just a bit too pink. Might be just a bit too strong. Let's see. Let's find a pokey tool and we can look. And if it is, that's okay. I'm sure we can find something else. Oh, off you come. Oh, they're stuck well and truly on here. I'm going to take them off with my thumb instead. Wow, strong glue on here. Oh no, I think this is going to be just right. I might pop one over here. I'm not squashing them down yet till I see where I'd like them. And let's see, one over here. This one might have to come down a little bit. And then let's do one at the top. Oh, it's so sticky. Okay, so I want this one to come down a little bit. There we go. That's just the right size. And probably for my envelope, I could put a little strip of that paper. Remember we had that piece that we cut? We could put that across the bottom. Or you could put on one of your flowers as well. Or you could put a little piece of designer series paper over here just to make it match. Now sometimes when I've made this card, what I've done, if I didn't want to use a piece of designer series paper here, I've used like an embossed piece of card. So let me just see, I've got some embossed cards over here. Pop those ones back, we don't need those ones. So it's probably not the embossed piece I would choose, but just to show you. So it would be, let me think, 5 1/4, and that will be 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. So you see, that still looks really pretty, really elegant. So if you decide you didn't want to use designer series paper, oops, okay, just an embossed layer. Actually, I didn't think that was the right pattern, but it does look really nice on there. So, and it just makes it look a little bit more classy as well. So you don't have to use paper if you don't want to. I make a lot of this card in a white base, and then I will put like designer series paper on, but on a coloured piece, just white embossed looks really pretty. And then I showed you that sometimes I will put a ribbon across as well. Where did I put that ribbon? Let's just tie a bow. Thanks, Libby. It's a really easy card to make, and it's one that displays nicely. I try and find ones to send to my mum, because when she displays them, she likes them on her mantelpiece or on the table, or you know, on the side next to a vase of flowers or something. So I always try and find something that's a bit 3D-ish, that she can display nicely. Oh, these are the wrong scissors. These are not my ribbon scissors. And you can see, once you use scissors for paper, it's very difficult to then use them for ribbon. So I should have got my other scissors out. So if you didn't want to do a whole ribbon across, you could put a ribbon on the side, or even over on this side. Let's just see if we can close that up. See? So you could have a little ribbon on the side. It's a really easy one to jazz up with just little bits and pieces. Okay, and let's put it back to the one with the designer series paper. Okay, I hope you give that a try. It's a really easy one to make. I'll put all the sizes and everything onto the Facebook page as well as my blog. Excuse me, because I know it was difficult listening tonight to me coughing, and you might have missed some of the measurements. I am going to go have a drink, but thank you so much for joining me and for sticking with me while I coughed all the way through it. Thanks, Jane. It is really pretty, and see, it stands up so nicely. It's a really easy one to make. Oh. So thanks again, ladies. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks, Libby. I'll do my best. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.